Trigger warning, infidelity. I caught my mom cheating, and she's trying to convince me that my dad knows. I'm 17, and until a couple of days ago, I thought I lived in the perfect family, raised by my two loving parents. My dad is an engineer who has been traveling a lot for the past year, and my mom is in healthcare, taking shifts at different times of the day. My laptop broke down, and I asked to use mom's laptop to finish a school project. When I was working, I saw a couple of WhatsApp web notifications pop up with sexual messages. I tried not to pay attention until I realized these were from Pete and not from Dad. I could not believe my eyes, and I felt like throwing the laptop in the trash and pretending I never saw it. After I collected my thoughts, I went back to the chat, and from what I can see, they met at least 4 or 5 times, starting just a couple of months after my dad began traveling. I took photos of the chat history and went to my room, trying to process it. I couldn't even finish my homework. From the messages, they were supposed to meet tonight, and lo and behold, just half an hour before the meeting time, she passed by my room to let me know she's going to work. The next day, I gathered my courage to confront her. I think she knew that I discovered her because the new chat messages had been read by me, and I think I left the chat tab open before returning her laptop. I told her I knew what she was doing and that it was wrong. She sat me down and tried to calm me, but I told her there was no way I would be calm, and she said I would understand once I heard the explanation. She told me that she and Dad agreed to open their marriage shortly after he began traveling. To be honest, I didn't fully comprehend, so she explained what that entailed. She told me that it was completely physical and she would never have feelings for anyone other than my dad and that they agreed to only do it if one of them was away. She closed by saying that this is adult stuff agreed upon between two loving adult spouses, and I should stay out of it. I was dumbfounded and didn't know how to react the whole time. I started reading online about open marriage, and this is how I found this subreddit. It was consistent with what she said, but it just didn't make sense to me. I don't believe my dad would agree to this, as his views are generally more conservative. Also, when he's away, he's more present with us than her, as he video chats with us or plays online games with my two brothers almost daily. In yesterday's call, I asked him why he has to travel a lot, and he said this is hard, but it is necessary to secure college money for me and my brothers. He assured me that it would change soon. I asked him how he could bear being away from his wife for almost half of the year. He said that since their relationship foundation is strong, temporary separation only causes them to miss each other more and value the limited time they have with each other. He asked me if everything was all right, and I told him not to worry. I honestly don't know if I should believe her. Should I ask her for proof for the open marriage claim? I am mortified to tell Dad, but is that my only option to confirm? I don't want our perfect family to be torn apart, but would it be fair for Dad to keep this secret? I've been crying non-stop since this revelation and don't know what to do. Comments. Bitter Cupido. Tell your dad. It might be embarrassing for him, but if it is an open marriage, they effed this up by not being discreet enough. If it's not, he needs to know. And if it is, there's a good chance that your dad already knows that your mom messed up by being indiscreet. If he doesn't know that, they're not communicating the way they should in an open marriage. A kid finding out this way should be a DEFCON1 incident, and your dad should already have been told by your mom. Sin0289. Call her out. If this were me, I would say it like this. I understand if this is how it is. That's not my business, but I want Dad here to tell me the same also. If he confirms what you're telling me, I'll delete everything and act as if nothing has changed. Her reaction will tell you before you even have to go further. P.S. If you have a trusted friend who will keep it to themselves or another safe place, then keep it there, as it's not hard for a parent to take your phone. Okay, concentrate 1092. Give your mom time to speak with your dad about the situation since he knows. Tell your mom that you need to have your dad quell your fears, and if that doesn't happen, tell your dad. This is your decision, and you have to make it. Update. I thought this would be a good time to update you on how the situation progressed, but it'll be a long post. Reading through your responses, there are a lot of people recommending that I tell my dad and others to keep myself out or talk it out with mom. It took me a lot of time to think and decide that I wanted to somehow bring it up with my dad, but that I wanted to wait to do it in person. His next home visit was 5 days after the original incident. While waiting for that, I was really uncomfortable with my mom and was thinking twice about any move she made. She tried to play it cool, open conversations, or suggest going out, but I just tried to avoid her. Even if my dad did know, I was subconsciously treating her in a cold manner. This might have contributed to what would happen next. On the night before my father's arrival, it seems mom broke down. She came into my room when I was about to go to sleep and asked if we could talk. She started to talk about generic things and how hard it was for her to be almost a single mom for the past year with 2 teenage boys, and she thanked me for helping out with that. Now I started to see her tear up while bringing up the fact that she might not have been completely honest about the open relationship thing. Long story short, according to her, she suggested to her dad a while ago to open the marriage, but he didn't give her a definite answer. Rather, he will think about it and get back to her. She said that she asked to revisit, but he keeps changing the subject. So, there was no agreement from my dad. That was clearly established. Now at least I know what to expect when I approach my dad. By this time, she's completely sobbing and trying to guilt-trip me about the consequences of disclosing all the information to him. I felt sorry for her and told her the right thing to do was to come clean with him, but she said she didn't have the courage to do it. I said that I would do it if she didn't. She said she'd think about it, and we both went to bed. Not that I could get any sleep that night after this. My dad arrived the next afternoon. Earlier that morning, my mom sent in the family chat that she had to take an emergency shift, wouldn't be back until the evening, and apologized profoundly. In the private chat, I told her what the hell she's doing, and she said she's not ready to tell him and needs more time to find the courage. I told her that I don't think I can hold it and act normal around him, so he most likely will find out from me if she doesn't do it tonight. She sent several crying emojis, then gave me the go-ahead to talk to him and told me to update her if it is safe for her to come back home after I talk to Dad. I don't know what she meant, as my dad was never the violent type. Over dinner, my dad was visibly displeased, as Mom never takes shifts during his arrival. When we were alone, after having a lot of small talks, he was telling me that one of his co-workers is getting married next week, so he'll try to stay around to attend that. I used this as a transition and told him that I came across the term open marriage. I told him that after hearing and reading about it, I asked Mom what she thought of it, and Mom told me it would be ideal for her situation. I then asked him what he thought about it. He was taken by surprise. He said he doesn't believe in polygamy, and that if a couple feels the need for it, they should address the issue that makes them feel that way, and if this issue cannot be resolved, then polygamy would not be the answer. I asked if Mom asked him for an open marriage, and he said yes, but that he refused on the spot. After that, he promised her that he'd ask to take a local position, as he didn't know this was how she felt, especially since he didn't take this job in the first place until she was okay with him traveling. He was actually just approved to move back to our city, and will start the new job after the new year. He was planning to surprise my mom with the news. I asked him when was the first time they talked about this open marriage proposal, and he assured me that it was only one talk that happened around 5 months ago. He started to pressure me about what's going on, but I was able to get out of the conversation as I needed some alone time to make up the two sides of the story. While looking at the message dates, apparently my mom started seeing this guy and then asked to open the marriage to give her legitimacy to F him. When my dad refused, she did it anyway. I was boiling and couldn't think straight. I messaged her to please come home and that everything is fine. Then I messaged Dad screenshots of her conversation with Pete. And then I came here to write this update. I really don't care about what happens next and won't write another update. Whether they separate or not isn't important to me anymore, as I know life won't get back to what it was anyway. The important thing is that I made peace with carrying this burden. Comments. Blade982. I'm sorry, OP. This isn't the first time someone has suggested opening up about their marriage in order to legitimize their cheating. Your mom had the opportunity to talk to your dad herself, but she chose to manipulate you instead. Please remember, whatever the fallout, you're not to blame for any of it. Your mom should never have placed the burden of secrecy on you. She lied to you, and I wanted you to lie to your dad. You did the right thing. Despite being put in an impossible situation by someone who should have known better, and who should have had your best interests at heart, the only thing to do now is to step aside and let your parents deal with their marriage. Don't get caught up in being a confidante for either of them. Don't let them involve you any further. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't let your dad know you love him. He will be dealing with a lot. A quick cuddle or a kind word will help him more than you know. Actually2994. Oh man, I am nosy and hate cheaters. I wanted to hear the downfall of your narcissistic mother. However, I understand these stories involve real people with feelings who have to live through them. I wish you the best, and if you find it in you, please update. FanDeer6882. I'm so sorry that you got caught up in this, but you are most certainly one kick-ass daughter. You gather the courage to have the talk and approach it in a very thoughtful way, preparing the ground for whatever is next. I hope this finds a way to get resolved for the best. And try to find material and support to help you and your loved ones heal from this situation. My heart goes out to you. Thank you for watching the video.